today's special guest interview, talking about languages, probably art, and life around the world. And our guest expert is Chris, who's here. We're in Chiang Mai, Thailand, but he lives in Bali most of the time.
Most of the time now, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time now. And we're going to talk about. Well, okay. First, where have you lived around the world?
Around the world. Should we begin with the United States?
Okay.
I've lived in Southern and Northern California and New York City.
And yeah, you went to school in New York City.
Yeah, in the U.S. that's it. And outside of the U.S., I've lived in Beijing, China, Tokyo, Japan, Loire Valley in France.
Oh, okay.
For 6 months.
Oh, that was good.
That was nice.
Nice, a lot of wine drinking time, wasn't
That's
it?
right. That's right. Bali for about 12 years, Thailand for about 3 years, Cambodia for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that covers it.
Yeah. Okay. Just on that, which place do you like the most? Or what are which place do you like
That's
the
a
most?
hard question to answer.
Well,
I like different places for different reasons.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Okay, well, Bali, for example, you've been in Bali. Indonesia is the largest economy in Southeast Asia, by the way, for those people who don't know. It's also got a giant population, too.
Yeah, it's the fourth most populous country in the world.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of islands. I mean, it's a lot of people they think of maybe only like Jakarta, right, and stuff, and people don't even really know Bali is Indonesia, I think.
Yeah, that's right. People are often aware of Bali just because of the name of Bali, but they don't know that it's in Indonesia.
Yeah, and it's just a little background for people. Indonesia is primarily Muslim, but Bali
is not. Bali is
Hindu. Yeah, Bali is Hindu, and Bali is also known as a surfer's Mecca. To kind of combine.
Yes, it is.
Terms, and there's a lot of. They get a lot of promotions going there too. I mean, I've seen things for different bands and stuff play at the surf parties and things like that over the years.
Yeah, you know, one interesting thing is that every different country that you go to, the local people are interested in different types of Western music.
Yeah.
And the Western music that people are interested in Bali is much more to my taste than what they like here in Thailand.
What do you think they like in Thailand? I don't think they like anything.
I can't figure out what they like. I can't figure out what they like aside from Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Which they listen to ad nauseum sometimes.
Yeah. Well, okay. What's the music like in Bali? What are they listening to?
They listen to everything from Deep Purple, Rolling Stones, through like mid '80s punk, like NoFX and Rancid.
Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine.
Because that's a surfer band.
The music is much harder.
Yeah,
they're into much harder sounding.
Oh, they're sort of like Japanese in that way. I mean,
the Japanese are really eclectic.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying.
Jazz.
I know you can find a group for anything, but you can. Actually, I worked security once for this Japanese band called Loudness, trying to be a heavy metal. Yeah. But so there's a giant. I mean, Japan has like. There are enclaves of people who like anything there, so you can't really throw them in there. But there isn't here in Thailand. I mean,
no, you were just talking about that in Thailand, and the polar opposite is Japan, where there's people that are into every little possible niche. Yeah,
they're not here. They're into this crappy. Well, they like K-pop, and they try to do like.
They like K-pop. That's right. More than Western pop.
Yeah. And then they try to do their version of K-pop, and it's just there's a reason why it doesn't take over the world, you know. But that's part of the thing. So what we're talking about there is the cultural aspect. So in Bali, then you like the music scene. How about the art scene? How's the art scene in Bali?
The art scene it's good in terms of. In the sense that there are a lot of talented artists, and in the sense that the Balinese are very, they're very adept at abstract art. Okay. They're very adept at producing something really emotive, or doing something technically really excellent. But if you talk about conceptual art, no.
Okay.
There's Some people have a grasp on it, but
yeah.
they just don't take that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, even here in Thailand, I find there are more artists that are more in tune with that here than there are in Indonesia, or at least in Bali.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I think this is, we're going off in another direction, but it's okay. Same thing like in Mexico. I think you find these hobby artist communities. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who are, they don't have to live by their art. They're just kind of doing it.
Bali, Bali, that's the cultural heritage of Bali, because for the most part, artists never had to live by their art in Bali.
Yeah.
They were farmers, and they did art when they came home, or when they don't have to plow the fields. So it was always sort of a hobby, but also a cultural practice for Balinese people.
Yeah.
It was never an academically oriented type of thing until maybe the mid-60s.
Well, there's nobody, the suffering, starving artist, Western model paradigm, you know what I'm saying? And then from that, then you get the expats who are artists, but they're not really artists because they don't have to live and die by their art, Yeah. So I consider a real artist someone who has to live and die by their art, Then you'll see some realism.
Yeah, that's true.
But okay, so to put this change this a little bit here. Then you've lived in, like you said, Bali the longest. So you speak Indonesian. Can you give us the process you went through learning Indonesian and how it was?
I've learned many languages, and before I'd learned Indonesian, I'd learned. And these are all in school. I'd studied Spanish, I'd studied French, and then I'd actually learned more French by speaking it in China than I did in the classroom in high school.
Yeah.
And then I studied Chinese, and I studied Japanese, and I learned all of those to the point where I could speak them well. But I learned them in the classroom, first of all.
Yeah.
I never studied Indonesian in the classroom, at all, ever. In fact, I hardly ever studied.
Yeah.
And yet, within the first 6 months of living in Bali, after 6 months, my Indonesian was better than my Thai is now. After 3 years, with 6 months of coursework. Indonesian is just a phenomenally easy language.
Well, but then it also goes to something we were talking about before the camera went on, and that's that the people are different. And so when you can,
people are friendly almost to a fault.
Yeah, and so when you can, that just magnifies your practice because
that's right.
Because if you're living here in Thailand, you have got to go
out of your way to try to practice your Thai.
Yeah, and you almost have to pay somebody. Just to, unless you're out in a dirt village somewhere.
That's right, and it can be very discouraging because you've learned something in the classroom and you've gone over how to say it, how to pronounce it correctly, making these weird sounds. And then you get to the restaurant and you order gankia wangai or whatever it is, and they look at you like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, well, because things change. And for example, like I was at a 7-Eleven, and there's people ask you your name, and so you're used to like, I'm used to that, which is the normal way to say it. But this guy said P chu, and I'm like, what he meant? P is like a sign of respect. Older, honorific. But he just said P chu, and I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? I'm like, it threw me. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't used to.
Yeah, because
he didn't say arai. He didn't say arai on the end of it either. So I was like, huh? I was sort of like chu. And he's Then I was like, oh, okay. And then I said my name. But the point being is that there's a lot of different speech communities within Thailand, and you learn one that works someplace, and you don't learn the one that works the other place. But you don't get enough practice because the people are not. They're not outgoing. I mean, they're not gregarious, really. They're superficially you can talk to people, but you can't.
No,
really.
but they can be quite insular compared to Indonesians.
Well, or Latins, or Filipinos.
I find people here more like Japanese than like anywhere else in Asia.
Closed off.
Yeah, they're kind of off in their own direction.
Yeah. So, okay, but so you were picking. I guess we'll use the term picking up Indonesian, which is very close to Malaysian, they're really the same thing.
They're almost the same
Yeah.
language. The difference is like the difference between American
Yeah,
and Malaysian.
the lexicon is the only thing. And did you get a book at a certain point in time?
I never got a book, but I did.
A dictionary.
I got a dictionary, of course,
Yeah.
and I had a kind of a study partner.
Oh,
I had
okay.
a local friend who
Yeah.
wanted to learn. He spoke some English already.
Okay.
Wanted to practice his English. I said, okay, let's come over twice a week, and
Yeah.
we'll speak English for an hour, and then we'll speak Indonesian for an hour.
How did that work? Because a lot
That
of
worked
times,
out.
really?
Worked out pretty well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
most of the time, when people try to set that up, their levels are never really close enough. So one person's doing more than the other, or the person wants to learn English usually because of most English speakers don't
Of course,
want to
it's
reach
exactly that way.
you know.
And when we began, of course, his English was better than my Indonesian because my Indonesian was almost non-existent.
Yeah.
But the trajectory, the speed at which you can learn Indonesian is so much greater than the speed at which one can learn English, especially if they're not in the environment where English is spoken all the time.
Yeah.
That within, I don't know, 6 weeks, 2 months, my Indonesian was already at the point where his English was.
Yeah. Well, I know people that go to graduate school in Malaysia, or which is, like we said, almost the same
It's
language.
almost the same language.
They are given like a semester to get up
to speed.
Yeah, but they can. Almost everybody can.
That's right.
Get up to speed in a semester.
I studied Esperanto at one point.
Yeah.
I think Indonesian's even easier than Esperanto.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, there's some. And actually, it's not a small language by any means. It's actually much larger. It's much larger than Thai, for example.
And there's some aspects to it that are not easy either, but you don't. Don't have to learn
the focus particles and other stuff.
It's mostly prefixes and suffixes, which change words from a verb to a noun to an adjective.
Yeah.
But you don't need to use them in everyday speech. And most people don't.
Yeah. Okay. But so. We should mention that Chris is a IELTS trainer, right?
I've done IELTS training, but I'm very little. I'm an IELTS examiner.
Okay, examiner. Yeah, he examines people, and.
But actually, as an IELTS examiner, I'm really not supposed to talk about that.
No.
Anywhere. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so no questions, yeah?
Okay, but what am I getting to is that his background is in teaching English to speakers of other languages. So
yes, and beyond just classroom practice.
Yeah,
also. That kind of tops it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. And you have a Trinity, right? You have a Trinity? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both have Trinities. Not from the same place. We didn't do the.
You did yours in Spain?
I did mine in Spain, yeah. And you did yours in Bali?
In Bali, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's an interesting thing if you want to do it.
Yeah, it's one of the few places in Asia where you can do a Trinity teacher certificate.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into this. Worldwide, there are...
You did it at Lingual House or something like that?
Yeah. There's only two certifications that are worth anything. One's the CELTA, and the other's the Trinity. Yeah. And the rest are fly-by-nights, really, in comparison.
And the better schools will not
take it. Yeah, they will not take it. They will not take it. And there's a lot of people making a lot of money training people in these substandard TESOL certifications. Yeah, well, Thailand is one of the places. China, there's loads. Hey, we'll certify you, and because they're making money. But the Trinity differs from the CELTA. In the Trinity, you have to teach all age groups. In the CELTA, you're pigeonholed. Like you do it for adult learners.
You do it young learners.
Yeah. But in Trinity, you have to do all age groups when you do the practice teaching, which is kind of fun. But yeah, it's a good thing in an aspect that it teaches you about language acquisition to begin with. And then from there,
yes, it does.
At an academic level, and then you can, of course, I already had all that, but stuff. I mean, the Trinity was nothing new to me when I did it, but it's a good opening for people who wanted to learn about learning a language, and then of course, when you did coursework for your master's degree, you went further than that, what was your thesis on?
My thesis was on online learning.
Okay, see, it's part of the thing, Part of the...
Yeah, and I had to kind of sell it to them. I had to talk them into it because because I used myself as the guinea pig, as the
okay.
subject, and as an native English speaker, of course,
Yeah.
I couldn't teach myself English online.
Yeah.
So my proposal was that I would teach myself Thai online, practice my Thai online, and monitor my progress, and also my own motivation, my feelings, how I reacted to different aspects of language learning online.
Yeah, and if you're interested in that, I'm certain that
you can
get
Google,
copies.
you can find it. It's on the internet.
You can get copies of that.
Yeah, I'm on one of these academic websites.
Yeah. I try to keep my
I still
stuff.
have it up on a blog as well.
I don't like to give my stuff out freely, so
Yeah.
so I don't.
Well,
I don't.
mine's online. It's I think it's Tessel Online at blogspot.com. Or something like that. Tessel Student Online. I think that's what it is.
Okay. So if those of you who want more information about that, because it's an interesting area, and there's more people are going to go into that application aspects, and you can see his progress.
Actually, my interest in doing it initially was in the application. Was that I would come through and I'd have all of the knowledge and the skills, not necessarily the web designing skills, but at least I would know.
You weren't wasting your time.
I would know. I wanted to know what ideally an English language student would need online in order to provide a motivating learning experience. That I would be in a position to pinpoint all of the aspects that were necessary in order to create that. And I've since lost interest.
Well, he's now an artist, full-time artist. And where's your website? Give your website for the art.
Oh, for my art?
Yeah.
ChristopherStephenStern.com with PHs all the way.
PhDs all the way. Okay, so
Stern, S-T-E-R-N.
Yeah, play it back, and check out his art. You can buy some stuff. He's got things for sale. I'll tell you that. I'm doing a little commercial. He's got stuff for sale in Bali and in Thailand. And is he got anything in the U.S. right now or not?
No, I don't have anything in the U.S. But if anyone goes to that particular site and they see something they like, they just send me an email. I'll give Christophe a commission.
Okay.
Send me an email. I'll let you know what the dimensions and the price are if it's not already posted. Which most of them are.
But okay, let's do a little bit more commercial for you. You have done shows before, but you're doing when are you doing your next shows? Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I've got one coming up in July. Here
July?
in Chiang Mai.
In here?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's at a gallery called Bantuk, which is on Narawat Road.
Okay.
I'll come back beginning of July.
Okay.
So I had one show, my first show in Chiang Mai
last year,
June.
Yeah.
And I'll have another show at that same place.
Oh, that's the one.
September. No, this is a different show.
Oh, okay.
I've got a whole bunch of shows coming up.
Okay.
So far
you're doing
it's going,
okay. So
you're doing
Chiang Mai. Are you doing Bali?
Chiang Mai and then Chiang Mai, and then the same show goes to Bangkok and then Bali.
Okay, then
Yeah,
Bali.
it's part of a group show.
Okay, you're traveling. Okay.
Yep.
You're in Bali, and then
are
you going to the U.S. or not?
I'm going to try and go back to the U.S. in
But
August.
are you going to show or not? No? Okay.
That's maybe another year or
All
two
right.
ahead.
Well, he'll do a show if you really want him to. Just call him up.
And then solo show in September
Yeah.
in Chiang Mai, and then another show in Langkawi in October.
Yeah, you already got stuff set up.
Yeah, I've got it all set up, and then possibly in Malacca.
Yeah, you're already on tour.
I am?
Yeah, that sucks for me. Dismal.
No, it doesn't make any difference for you.
No, it's dismal in comparison. I don't have everything set up. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm scanning books. That's what I'm doing. But okay, so the art. So you've gone off the art. You've left this other stuff behind, sort of. But I think question, since you learned many different languages, which one do you like the most? Which one did you find the hardest? Because we already know which one.
The ones that I enjoy speaking the most are Indonesian and Japanese.
Yeah.
Just because I like the sounds of them, especially Indonesian. I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
It sounds really nice, and it's what I'm most fluent in. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's
what you're using.
What I'm using every day.
You're functional. You're functional.
Functional in it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of Indonesian people who speak Indonesian very well. They're very well read. They're very intelligent, literate people. And so it's a pleasure to speak with people like that.
They're not saying, well, damn, the pig fell down.
That's right.
And
whereas I think
back the pickup up, Elma.
There's a possibility that if my Thai got to be as good as my Indonesian is now, I might enjoy speaking it, but still the sounds are so foreign to my ear and so difficult to pronounce correctly. And I don't find it to be a beautiful language compared to English.
Then, you know, that's
there's a lot of nasal sounds, a lot of strange vowel sounds.
I was going to say though, just Thai is tonal. Indonesian is not.
Indonesian is written in our alphabet. And
it was changed to that. Yeah,
it's written exactly as it's pronounced. Yes, there is. There's a traditional alphabet as well. Interestingly. They're both the Balinese characters and the Thai characters have a lot of similarities.
Oh yeah, because they're Pali.
Sanskrit, Pali, Sanskrit. And the languages have a number of similarities.
See, actually, just to get into the linguistics here of the historical aspect, that language that's there came from Malaysia and then went there, and the Hawaiian and Pacific Islands also. They're part of the same language.
Part of the same language?
Yeah. So there's, Hawaiian's really easy too, you know.
I'm sure it is.
But
and Tagalog as well. There's some.
They're all Filipino. Well, there's some, but no Filipino language is tonal. There are a lot of languages in the Philippines, so that makes it easier.
But what's unique? What's different with Indonesian from a lot of other Southeast Asian languages is that Indonesian's full of long words.
Yeah.
It's
well, Japanese is.
No, nothing in comparison. I mean, you see layers of history in the language because you have Arabic loanwords, and then you have Portuguese loanwords, and you have Dutch loanwords, and you have English loanwords.
In fact, the Dutch are borrowed from the Indonesian too. You know, I mean,
sure.
They got words that they brought in. Because
as has English, you know, like sandal and pajama and run amok.
Amok. They're crazed to killing, psychotic guys. Same thing with berserk, which was bear shirt, the Viking Old Norse. Anyway, so that's okay. So you like Japanese and Indonesian, which is I guess what you're not saying, but I'll clue everybody into forcing it down the funnel. He's saying that Thai has been the most.
It's been the most difficult language I've ever tried to learn.
Most difficult. And
also, I
you don't like
Mandarin Chinese as well. Well, I don't like it because it's difficult, and I guess it's also difficult because I don't like it. If I liked it, then it would feel easier to
Catch-22.
But it's difficult for those who haven't heard the explanation. Have they heard the explanation on your show?
Which one? I mean,
my theory about why it's difficult.
No, give your theory.
Is that phonemically it's completely different from anything we're ever accustomed to trying to differentiate. You've got not only tones. Chinese is tonal, but it's simple compared to Thai.
Well, it's monosyllabic.
Because it's all monosyllabic, and you don't have
clusters.
These compounding factors, which are tonality plus long and short vowels, plus aspirated and unaspirated consonants. So you've got all these three things together, which we don't have the mental capacity, that we don't have the software to process.
Well, there's some differences too. There's a lot of initial consonants in Thai, but only a few final consonants. It's 8, I think, final. And but we know most of them, other than the aspiration, because, I mean, talking about English speakers, because English speakers aspirate every stop that they put front. They don't know that, I've covered that, I think, before. But anyway, for example, which is sing, we're used to it as a final, but English speakers can't use it as an initial.
Very difficult to
which is snake.
I had a real hard time with that for a while. In Indonesia,
which is snake in Thai, by the way. And and then the tones get people, and it's really that it's not that people can't make the tones; it's that they can't control them. Yeah, you know,
that's right.
Everybody can
That's
make
right.
the tones, but they just can't control them.
Sure.
Because in English, tones are used super segmentally for giving emphasis and stress and things like that. And the problem is that an English speaker tries to do that in other languages, and that's what makes their Spanish and their French horrid. It's like, the last person you want to hear is an English speaker trying to speak Spanish, you know. It's bad. There's a lot of reasons I've gone to because English is but Thai is also a stress time language. It's not syllable stress, which is, most Romance languages are syllable stress. Portuguese isn't, but almost all the others, French, Spanish, are. And English speakers always want things to end with a consonant. And that's why the French is so horrible, because they don't
pronounce all the five consonants.
Yeah. They break things up. Their syllable breaks are on consonants, whereas in French the syllable breaks are trying to be on a vowel sound, even if it's not, you know, orthographically written that way. So that's a little inside story there. But so Thai. So yeah, and the thing is, then we get to another aspect of how useful is Thai. It's not very useful unless you're living here.
Unless you're living here.
Constantly.
That's right.
Constantly living here.
Yeah.
So it's geo-locked. So that gives it a little. And the thing is, we should say that Indonesian is an L2. It's a lingua franca, because there's many other languages.
That's right. It's a national language.
So that gives it. There's a lot more leeway. Same thing with Mandarin. Gives it a lot more leeway in how people pronounce it, so that people will tolerate a different sound, and it's okay. It's okay for them. Like English, in many cases, the same way. So you got all these people coming to it. So there's only a few people who are going to say, "Well, we speak the Indonesian that you must speak." The prescriptive prestige.
People from Jakarta, they tell me, "You've got to leave Bali. You're Indonesian. You sound like Balinese."
Yeah. Is there a stigma against the Balinese?
From Jakarta, sure. Yeah, but I think Jakartan Indonesian sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's a good thing when you can start noticing the dialectical differences.
And I know that people kind of they point out that I sound like a Balinese.
Yeah, well,
it's other islands.
If that's where you
sound like
around.
a Balinese.
If that's where you're around all the time, then it's okay. Anyway, we could go on and on, but this was I was going to throw some curves on him. So he knows this one already though. If you could be one animal, what animal would you be?
Oh. You sent me that. My response was a sloth. But I don't think I'd be a sloth. I would be a bird of some sort.
Okay.
An eagle, maybe.
And if you had to pick one movie as a template for life, what would it be? This one's pretty difficult. I should be an interviewer because this is a great question.
I would pick. I don't know what the movie is, but it would be the antithesis of a Werner Herzog movie. Because in every Werner Herzog movie, everything it disintegrates into chaos.
Yeah. Entropy. Yeah.
It's all about entropy. Whereas if I wanted to choose that as a template for my life, I don't think my life would move along very smoothly. It might be interesting, but it wouldn't move into any particular useful direction.
Okay, so play back the parts where he talks about his website, talks about his art shows if you're an art person, and stay tuned because next interview, who knows who it'll be with, and who knows, and I'll surprise them with some more. Who would you be as your favorite nude pilgrim? That'll be John Smith as a test question to throw people off. Put them at ease. Anyway, okay, so thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later on.